got some trades happening now, Will. And every trade that happens that is not Deshaun Watson, to me, means Watson is one step closer to becoming a Denver Bronco. This is That's Good Broncos podcast. I'm Brandon Perna here with Lake Tahoe Will Keys. He was in Lake Tahoe yesterday. If I didn't tell you that, then that name wouldn't make any sense. Today, though, we'll talk about this Carson Wentz trade. The Broncos are now the betting favorites on some sites, even ahead of the Texans to land Deshaun Watson. So that's cool. That's real cool. I did a video about Von Miller yesterday. There was some rumor fodder reports getting blown out of proportion that Denver had already decided that he would no longer be a Bronco. That's not true, but that doesn't mean he will be a Bronco. I think his future is still uncertain. I think the Broncos just haven't decided what they want to do with Von yet. Tebow retires, so a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. The episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up to take advantage of their can't-miss offers. And, of course, this episode brought to you by benchwarmerbrew.com. It's a coffee company that I started. Not all by myself, obviously. I'm too stupid to do something of that magnitude. But benchwarmerbrew.com, the cheapest way to get my coffee is through the subscription service. It saves you like $4 a bag, I think. Shipping ain't cheap, so that's the best way to do it. I recommend you try it first to make sure you like it, but then you spend a little money trying it, and then you spend a little money more subscribing to it. So if you like living on the wild side, just sign up for the subscription if you're into good coffee. All right.
It's good. It's really good. Just subscribe.
Subscribe.
I might need some coffee right now.
Yeah. Whenever Will lies, he chokes.
Yeah. Choking
it's
like...
really good.
Oh, I like it. It's good coffee. Go get it. Subscribe. Maybe even twice.
Yeah. Sign your mom up for a subscription too.
Yeah. We passed Valentine's Day. I'm sure there's a holiday coming up eventually.
Mother's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Get some Irish up your coffee on St. Patty's Day.
Yes. There we go. Get your coffee ready for St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure it'll taste great. Yeah, big trade today. Were you surprised by the timing at all? I didn't think it was going to happen this early.
Well, it's been weird. We started a script for this trade 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And I've been telling my wife I might have to work because of a trade since that time.
On call.
It was Friday or Saturday. I was like, God damn it. I was like, I might have to do this video. I was trying to get ahead of it, because we didn't do that with Stafford, and it took a while to get that episode up. So I was like, let's be prepared for Wentz. And they're like, trade coming soon. And then nothing happened. And then nothing happened. And then nothing happened. And now, yeah, you're right. At this point, I thought maybe next week at the earliest. It was starting to look like maybe trades might not happen until that week before free agency even starts. But I guess a lot of teams got to decide what they're going to do on player options and things at the beginning of March. So this week and next week, I guess, makes sense for trades and stuff happening. But it seemed like it could have happened any day for the last 2 weeks, and then it finally did. And Carson Wentz goes to the Colts.
Finally happens. I thought the Eagles' initial plan to get 2 first-round picks, essentially a Matthew Stafford type trade for Carson Wentz, was completely delusional and scared just about everybody off. I was pleased to see that the Broncos weren't interested in trying to pull a trade off. I don't know if it was just at that price or in general. I would assume in general they were not interested, because if you're going to upgrade, you got to really you got to swing for the fences, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe not if you're the Colts,
well, that's
but
this is bizarre. Like, not bizarre. It's a weird. There's so many ways you can look at this. I guess you're right. I don't think Wentz would have been the right play for the Broncos. I don't think it was the right move for him to stay with the Eagles. I don't think he would have done well with the Bears, just because they failed with Mitch Trubisky. And part of the reason Trubisky struggled is lack of weapons, lack of a run game, dicey offensive line, right? How's Wentz going to get better going to the Bears with it's like the same problems on Philly's offense, right?
right.
The Colts, just from an offensive team standpoint, gets much better protection up front. And what we have said numerous times on this podcast, the connection with Frank Reich, his offensive coordinator when he had his best season, I think that is a really good example of Wentz being the type of player that needs to be in the right situation to succeed, like a lot of quarterbacks, like the reason it might not be working out with Drew Lock and Pat Shurmur, and maybe some time changes that. But I like this move for the Eagles. Like, I think they have potential this season to be better on offense because of Wentz, better than they were with Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers played pretty good football with the Colts, but I think they're like, we just made an episode and I said like the biggest thing the Colts need to do is improve some of their receivers. Like, that's an area they can get better, and they have money to do it, and they can get better through the draft as well. And you trust Chris Ballard to do those things. And he didn't overpay for Wentz. Like, they gave up a third rounder and what will probably be a first rounder next year if Wentz stays healthy. And they can afford to do that because it'll be a high first round draft pick. So they're not giving up a ton to get him. And his contract at like $25 million a year for the next 4 seasons is, if he's good, it's a fucking bargain. If he's average, then you're fine paying that, because all the good quarterbacks or guys who just hit their contract at the right time are going to be making 30 to 40, maybe 45 million a season when the cap jumps back up. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's going to work out well for the Colts if he plays like he did before with Wentz. Right?
Oh, yeah. If he plays like he did before with Wentz, then
Reich.
Then they're like immediately Super Bowl contenders. With Reich, yeah. I mean, that would be if he throws like 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with the Colts this year, and that was in 13 games too. That wasn't even a full season. Then yeah, they're probably in the Super Bowl at that point. But I don't think you're going to get that Wentz, but I also don't think you're going to get 2020 Philadelphia Wentz where he's – I don't know. Like, I watched that video by Brett Coleman that really, I think, explained it well and where he kind of regressed. And I think Philadelphia kind of broke him a little bit, because remember that they had that season, I think it was 2019, where they made the playoffs, but all of their receivers got hurt.
Yeah.
Most of their running backs got hurt. It was really just Carson Wentz doing everything. Yeah. They get a little healthier last year, but he still had that mindset like, I have to do everything. And so eventually, like, that backfires. He's playing hero ball. He's chucking the ball up. He's throwing the ball from, like, on the run. He's losing his mechanics, and it all goes out the window. Has a really shitty year. He has, like, the worst stat that I saw, because he had, like, Drew Lock kind of touchdown interception numbers.
Yeah.
But the worst stat I saw, only 6 yards per attempt and 57% completions, which,
yes,
I mean, it's just so far below what we're used to now in the NFL. But the question, I think, for the Colts is, are those habits permanent, or are they going to be able to break him out of it? Because he's not going to have to run for his life in the Colts offense at any point. He's going to have fucking Quentin Nelson blocking up front for him. They do need to find a way to replace Anthony Costanzo, their left tackle. But luckily, they still have a first and a second round pick this draft, so
Yeah,
they can do that if
they
they
can
want.
get a tackle in this draft. I don't know what the tackle free agent market
Or
is.
you go and try to trade for Orlando Brown from the Ravens
Oh shit, yeah.
because you still have a first and second round pick and you have
And,
money.
which is awesome because he wants to play left tackle too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
Like
why
the
he's asking.
reason he wants to leave Baltimore is because he doesn't want to play right tackle because basically like he's trying to honor his father who was a great left tackle in the NFL and basically said like left tackle is better than right tackle. Bitches play right tackle, men play. He didn't say that exactly, but
Yeah.
he put a lot of prestige on being a left
Not
tackle.
so many words, yeah.
Yeah. So like he wants to follow in his dad's footsteps and do that, which is cool, and could benefit a team like the Colts, who that's where they need to upgrade, and they're getting like he's really good. So maybe that's what you do. Also, it's like I feel like drafting tackles is really tough in the NFL.
Yeah, it is.
It's a position there. It seems like there's a lot of misses, and if you can get a guy you know is gonna be good, it's like you take the Rams approach and go get that tackle now. Give up your first rounder this year, and take him, and then you're really set with Wentz because, like we said, he was sacked 50 times last season. So obviously, when you start to get like antsy as a QB and you start to hold on to the ball too long and you start to not trust maybe your judgment, you take more sacks than is necessary. But 50 sacks in 12 games, that's bad. So going
really
to the
bad.
Colts where Rivers was sacked 19 times, the only time he was sacked 18 times once with the Chargers, which was the fewest he'd ever been sacked. And he went from getting sacked like 30 plus times every season to 19 last year with the Colts. So I think that sort of translates as well. And, having just a run game for Carson Wentz will take off outside of like the line protecting him. Just being able to run the ball takes off a lot of pressure on a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it gives you time to sort of maybe settle down and correct some of the things you did poorly because one bad season, and it seems like everybody forgets that Carson Wentz was doing some pretty incredible things. Not every week, but there's some highlight-worthy plays. You go, oh shit, that's an amazing play by Carson Wentz. That's why, he was on track to maybe win MVP when he tore his knee. He does good things. He
definitely was, yeah. And Tom
got to
Brady
get back to that.
Because Carson Wentz tore his ACL in that game against the Rams. I think it was the Rams. I think I'm right there.
Anyway, you saw I stole your joke, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's in our contract.
I saw you tweet that, and I was like, that better be in the script.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I just had that thought, and then I was like, no, I should not put that in the script. Where we've actually tried to concentrate and focus all of these thoughts. I think I just like had a huge chunk and then like stepped away from the script and thought of it independently.
It's a good observation.
Well, yeah, it's just that Philip Rivers has a dumb, fucked up throwing motion, and so does Carson Wentz.
It's funny because I was downloading images of Carson Wentz, and there's one where his elbow is just like this. Like, how the fuck's he throwing a football?
Yeah, no, he throws like he's like a musketeer trying to stab someone.
Yeah, it is
with a sword. It's absurd, and
weird elbow.
Yeah. I
guess
it works.
Something Frank Reich looks at.
Yeah, maybe you should just be like, hey, maybe try tucking your elbow in a little bit. Maybe the ball won't sail 5 yards over your receiver's head if you just throw like a normal human being. He's just a weird looking guy in general. He's got that big red chin strap and he's huge. He's just like he's got that. Plus, like his feet are so wide. Like he really spreads out his base when he throws and then juts that elbow out, and it just looks hilarious.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not a good quarterback.
So you go from Rivers to that, and it's like, this is just strange. Why can't you just get a guy who throws normal?
Yeah. Speaking of weird
Uh,
throwing motions, Tim Tebow
yes.
announces that he has retired
Perfect.
from Major League. Was he in the majors? Was he
No,
playing?
he was
Still in the minors?
the spring training invitee of
Uh,
the New York Metropolitans. Yeah, he's
so,
supposed to play
like
out.
Russell Wilson, right?
Right. Yeah, like Russell Wilson. Yeah, so I think he's 33 and he decided to retire officially from baseball. I don't know what his next venture is. Maybe NASCAR. I don't know. He seems like he should try his hand at NASCAR.
He's got the upper body to control a steering wheel for
Yeah.
3
I'd imagine
hours.
there's a big overlap between Tim Tebow fans and NASCAR fans,
Oh, yeah, huge.
especially down in the South.
Huge.
Christian, I think you should give it a shot, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. How hard can it really be to pick up at 33?
I think he goes to the Texans, becomes their next quarterback.
Honestly, like, people love. Yeah, that's probably, they're probably going to find a way to make that happen. Everybody loves to make fun of him for baseball, but like, considering he hadn't played since high school, like, he wasn't bad at all.
No, he's a good athlete.
Yeah, to be able to like to just jump into baseball and start hitting home runs, and like, he's not a good player at that level, but like, to even compete and like stick around for a few years, that's really, really impressive, I thought.
Yeah, it's just
Not a refined baseball player at all, but like, clearly just like
no.
an athlete that he can sort of pick it up.
Is he
professional
going to
level.
get an unfair shot because of his status?
Yeah.
Yes, but can he actually give it a go because of his athletic skill set? Also, yes. So
It's like Michael Jordan. They're both equal athletes.
yeah. Tim Tebow is the Michael Jordans of multi-sports.
I think Michael Jordan would have
Figured baseball out?
made it. Yeah, he would have made it to the pros, to the MLB, given more time.
Oh yeah.
He
Probably.
got really good. Maybe not like a great MLB player, but he could have been like a
Jordan,
platoon or whatever.
Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson.
Yeah, those are the. It kind of sucks now that there's not at least like one guy
Yeah,
who can do both.
that's
I mean,
true.
it's probably a nightmare for Deion Sanders because I think Bo Jackson had it right. He just like he played baseball until baseball season was over and then joined the Raiders. He wasn't like flipping back and forth.
Yeah. Who would which current player do you think could do it?
That's a good question. I think wasn't Jameis like a really good pitcher at Florida
Oh,
State?
interesting.
I think he was a
Jameis
good
Winston.
pitcher. Even Mahomes, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Patty Mahomey.
He's got a baseball kind of throw.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think those guys probably. What's the baseball equivalent of like 30 interceptions though? Yeah, he'd probably just get Jameis seems like a guy who's like high strikeouts, high home runs.
Right.
Extremely entertaining to watch.
I don't even know what like a good amount of strikeouts in a game is.
10's
10?
a
30?
good, yeah, 10 you're doing good.
Yeah, so Jameis
Definitely
is
not
like
30.
Jameis is like
Can't, not possible.
15 strikeouts, but also 8 home runs given up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, how does that even happen? That's
Yeah. I think we might be onto something. I think the Miami Marlins have an attendance problem, and they're supposed to allow, they're going to allow fans this year. So I think they fix that by signing Jameis Winston for the offseason. He's a Florida guy already.
Jameis.
Like we figured it out.
You put this question in the rundown.
Yes.
What's your favorite non-Steelers Tebow memory. And for me, that was pretty easy, was the Miami Dolphins game, which I had to look up. I had to look through 3 videos to make sure that I had the right memory of it.
Yeah.
Because the first one just stopped in overtime, so it didn't finish. The second one just completely cuts out the fact that the Broncos got an onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I found the whole fucking thing. I was like, okay, I'm not losing my mind, because I was like, was it the Jets game that he did that? No. The Broncos are down 15-0. There's 4 minutes left in the game. Tim Tebow throws a touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. Then the Broncos recover the onside kick. Then Tim Tebow throws a touchdown pass to Darren Fells or Daniel Fells?
It would have been Daniel Fells.
Daniel Fells.
That year, yeah.
Then they convert the 2-point conversion, tie the game. Then in overtime, the Broncos defense stops the Dolphins. Then the Dolphins defense stops the Broncos. But then DJ Williams strip sacks Matt Moore. The Broncos get the ball back. Matt Prater blasts a long field goal. I think it was a long field goal. And
52 yards, yeah.
yeah, they beat the Dolphins down 15-0 with 4 minutes left. Like, that's just
unbelievable game.
That was, yeah. I mean, in terms of what happened, that was crazier than the Steelers game, because so many things had to go right for the Broncos. And I remember thinking, after that game, I was like, anything could happen for this team this year. As much as I don't believe in Tim Tebow for the first 3.5 quarters, the dude can do anything with the game on the line. Like, I fucking trust him. I don't care how he gets it done. And I ended up, like, watching through a few highlights and shit. It was just, like, so many players' names I forgot, and I've already forgot again. But that was just a crazy season. So, yeah, that Dolphins game, probably my favorite non-Steelers Tebow memory.
That game was, yeah, I've almost forgotten that game, because you do forget, like, everything that happened up until 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because those games would get most of those games would get so boring. They were impossible to watch. Like, the defense would keep hanging around, and the offense would do just about nothing.
Yep.
And then when it was time to score, they scored. I think the one game that kind of defied that game script was my favorite memory. It was when they played the Raiders at the Coliseum, and Tim Tebow threw 2 touchdown passes. Like, oh, he's figured it out through the air too. Now he can, like, it's like Happy Gilmore learning how to putt. And then Willis McGahee, he breaks off a couple long touchdown runs. And then they're just like a million kids at high school. They were talking shit to me before the game, because that was after they got blown out 45-10 by the Lions. And then he just came into Oakland and kicked their ass.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. The Jets game, the Thursday night Jets game, where he ran for the game-winning touchdown, the 2 completion game against Kansas City, was incredible. He's handing off to Spencer Larson.
Yeah.
After that game.
I think it was the Dolphins game. Ian Eagle was on the call. He gave your the textbook thing you hate the most. It was such a hard T in touchdown.
Oh yeah, that is a touchdown.
I was like, oh, that's what drives Will crazy. Touchdown.
He had some good games. He had some really good games. He was not the horrible quarterback people remember him as. He had times where
he was, but he was bipolar. He was a bipolar quarterback.
Yeah, well, no, you watched him and you're like, well, he knows how to throw the football. And then other times where it's just like, what is he, like, right-handed secretly and he doesn't know it? That was I thought that might have been the case for a little bit, because he throws the ball, like, so awkwardly from his. He looks like He's like, if I practiced really hard with
your
my left hand, it would look like how Tim Tebow throws it naturally. I was like, just
Yeah.
try it once with your right hand and see what happens. That's like what people thought about Ben Simmons for the 76ers too. Because he throws with his right hand, but shoots with his left hand, and he sucks at shooting threes. It's like maybe you should just shoot right-handed. Anyway, yeah, my other favorite memory was signing Peyton Manning and trading him to the Jets.
True.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah, I remember like
Where were you when the Broncos signed Peyton Manning? Where were you
Where?
going?
I was in LA.
Doing what? Because it was like I think it was a Monday. It was the middle of the day and Monday.
Yeah, so I was probably working. Wait, was it? That was 2012. I was probably at home working. Yeah, I told you this before. The first video I ever shot for That's Good Broncos was me predicting that Peyton Manning would sign with the Broncos.
Oh, really?
And it was so shitty, or I was so uncomfortable like about it that I didn't post it. Then I was pissed when he did, and I was like, okay, you're gonna actually make some Broncos videos. And then like 3 months later, once training camp or preseason started, I did it. But some people are like, you worried about losing Tebow? I was like, no, we got Peyton Manning.
Yeah, what? I was ready to roll in the 2012 with Tebow. But as soon as they signed Peyton Manning, I couldn't have forgotten about him quicker. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. I was in homeroom on a Monday, and my friend who's an NFL fan, just like turned around and told me in the middle of class. Because I didn't have like an iPhone or anything at that time.
He was your Adam Schefter, huh?
Yeah, he was my Adam Schefter. Shout out Josh.
I wish his name was Adam.
Yeah. He was Asian. Didn't really look like Adam Schefter, but he was short too, so had that going. Had that in common.
Hey, Will. It's not quite time for the madness that is college basketball in March, but that doesn't mean the fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players the chance to cash $100. New customers can bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week, and if your team makes it rain, you cash $100. They do not require me to say it like that, but that's just what I do. That's right. All it takes is for one three-pointer being hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Sounds like a no-brainer. This slam dunk of an offer won't be around forever, so head to the App Store now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and get in on all the action. If basketball ain't for you, DraftKings Sportsbook has daily odds on hockey, soccer, and so much more. DraftKings has paid out over $7 billion to its customers since 2012, so they know a thing or two about big paydays. This episode also sponsored by Payday Candy Bars. Now, that would be tight if I had an ad in an ad. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR to get your shot to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's promo code DNVR for new customers to get a shot at 100 to 1 odds on any basketball team to hit a three-point shot. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Winnings paid out in 4 $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Speaking of like losing Broncos legends.
Yeah, no shit. I think his chances of coming back right now are like 50-50. Actually,
yeah, well, like they're gonna decline the option.
They're gonna.
That doesn't mean he's gone.
No, it doesn't mean he's gone. It means they don't want to pay him $22 million this season,
which I agree with.
Which I also agree with. It really depends on how Vaughn feels about the Broncos right now, and I feel like this has been a tough offseason for Vaughn, mentally and emotionally. I think he's gone through some shit with his injury, with his personal life. I don't know if it's good, if it's bad. But he may just want a change at this point. The other thing is, well, if the Broncos get Deshaun Watson, then I think Von Miller wants to come back, and I think he's willing to take the pay cut the Broncos want him to take to make it happen. But from Von's standpoint, I would be ready to move on from the Broncos because they have not been a contender for the last several years. They want you to take less money. So why would he not take less money and go play for a team that he thinks has a real chance to get back, deep into the playoffs or make a Super Bowl run? And I'm sure there are a handful of teams out there that would welcome him to their roster. I said, I don't know if they can afford him, but he can go somewhere where, an Aaron Donald is on the line and Von Miller can have the kind of success that he's had before. Or you can go just where there's a good defensive line and a contending team and take the pay hit. It just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for Von to come back, except for maybe he loves Denver and he loves being a part of the Broncos. And at this point, any point with any athlete, I don't know how long that lasts, right? J.J. Watt just left Houston. After a while, sometimes it's better for a change. Now, if the Broncos can figure out a way to get him back, I think we all fucking want that. Everybody loves Von Miller. If you win a Super Bowl MVP for a team as a defensive player, you've got my undying loyalty.
Honestly, fair question. Where does he rank in terms of most beloved players in team history? Is he? I don't know. Maybe it's crazy, but is he 2?
Ooh, no. I mean,
he's top 5.
Maybe
it's
6.
Probably Manning.
You got
Davis.
Elway.
Probably Manning Davis.
Elway, Manning.
Elway Davis.
Davis.
Yeah. I don't know.
Shannon Sharp. Steve Atwater.
More than Von Miller.
Von Miller. Miller Atwater. You could flop. Champ Bailey.
Yeah, but they drafted. Here's the
Jake
thing.
Plummer?
They drafted, well, for us, yeah. They drafted Von Miller where they didn't draft Champ Bailey. They traded
draft Elway either.
Yeah, but that was different. He never played with another team.
No, that's true.
And the thing with Manning, Manning would be more beloved if he didn't fucking destroy us every time he played. He played us as a Colt for, 12 years.
Yeah.
Then I think we would have, we turn around on him pretty quickly. But
I always loved Manning, which is weird.
I didn't.
The way he beat the Broncos, it forced me to respect him. And I've never done that about a player. You know what I mean? I never liked any player really. Once I got old enough to really be sold on the, when I was young, I liked a lot of players that weren't Broncos. I liked Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, Rod Woodson. But once the Broncos made it to the playoffs and lost to the Jags, I was all in, right, as a Broncos fan. Once they got to the Super Bowl and won, I hated every fucking player from every team that wasn't the Broncos, except for Peyton Manning. And I can't explain why that was, but when I watched him, I was like, this might be the best football player I've ever seen in my life. He just forced me to respect him. So I liked it.
It was different.
It was a lot of people who
beaten by Manning than Brady.
Oh yeah.
It was not death by paper cuts. It was he's going down the field aggressively, and he's gonna it's gonna be a quick death more often than not.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about Tom Brady until the Broncos. Well, the Patriots won those 3 Super Bowls, so that's when I started to dislike the Patriots because they got more Super Bowls than the Broncos did, and those were close together. So I was like, fuck this team. Who are these assholes? Who's this Tom Brady guy? He's okay. And then they had the crazy season with Randy Moss, and I was like, oh shit, maybe that dude is pretty good. And then he was always just really good, but not where he impressed me good. Whereas Manning, when I was just like, oh, how does he do it? And maybe it's like they do the same things where they just make smart plays. But maybe it was always because Manning's pre-snap antics made it look like he was working so much harder than Tom Brady.
Yeah, when he just like looked frantic.
Yeah.
Like he never looked like he was comfortable.
Yeah. And maybe like Tom just always did it much more like a cooler way. Like he was just more relaxed about it. So it doesn't look like he's doing anything. So it never registered that he was. Whereas Manning, like maybe he just made one shift for like one player route shift, but he did 50 things before the snap happened. You're like, God, what did he do there?
Yeah.
He just told the guy to run a slant instead of a post.
It's more like relatable dude too, because like Tom Brady, as soon as he started winning, dating celebrities, just like he's this culture, not cultural, but just like kind of a celebrity icon, super good looking dude, that, you know, got hair plugs and fake teeth and, you know, injected plastic into his face, where Manning's just kind of like a doofus looking guy with a big forehead who dated, he's like been with the same girl since college.
Respect.
Easier to like. I liked Manning the person. It was just really hard to play. It was hard getting wrecked by him every single time.
Yeah, it's hard.
Kind of going against him and knowing you're going to lose.
At that point, I just like blamed the Broncos for not having a good enough defense.
Yeah. I mean, those like teams with, he was smart enough not to really mess with Champ Bailey. And then he'd always find the Broncos like third cornerback and torture him. Whether like Brock Alexander, Parrish Cox, or really whoever. Yeah.
He knew where the weakness was, and he would just attack it over and over again.
That's right. I don't know what I'm talking about. Peyton Manning.
Do you think Vaughn's back? Do you think he comes back?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't
it
think
feels like he's gone.
Although I saw a proposed trade between the Broncos and the Texans that included Bradley Chubb, and that's a tough one for me because if you're already getting rid of Von Miller, I don't think you can get rid of Bradley Chubb.
No, because like that's
really depleting yourself on defense.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like the Texans have said they're not going to trade Deshaun Watson, but also there's these reports out there that say the Texans want a defensive player. Yeah. So it's like,
which one is it?
Yeah, which one is it? I don't think the Broncos will. I don't think they would give up defensive players to get Watson.
Yeah, that was Elway's philosophy, was that he's never gonna take away from one unit to strengthen another.
Interesting. Yeah.
But it's not Elway running the show anymore, so maybe it's, I don't know, like what player on defense would you be okay with them giving up in a trade?
Von Miller.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
You don't know.
I don't think so, but that's just
he's from Texas. He liked Texas. Is your brother really down there?
Yeah, he's stuck. He's in a hotel.
That sucks.
Yeah. It is kind of funny though, because he's wanted to go to Austin forever. He decided like President's Day weekend.
He literally picked the worst weekend maybe in the history of Texas to go.
Yeah, which is like, it sucks. I hope he gets through this week and he should be able to leave by like Saturday. But it's also a little bit funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie,
because it's your brother.
Yeah. Everybody else, I feel really bad for.
Yeah. No, I've got a friend down there, and my aunt is down there. Just sounds like it's been fucking miserable.
Yeah. Ceiling fans freezing over.
Yeah.
I'm not the first to make this joke, but J.J. Watt leaves Texas. So does the electricity.
Ooh.
Coincidence?
You saw somebody else already make that?
Yeah, I went on the Texans subreddit and someone made that joke.
That's pretty good. Okay. Salary cap. The floor has been moved up from 175 to 180 million. So that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
because maybe the floor is even higher than that, which means maybe the Broncos will have a little more spending cash,
The
right?
ceiling will be higher.
Ceiling could be higher.
Yes. The
And so
ceiling
now,
roof.
why is that important? Well, if the Broncos do make a play for Deshaun Watson, I know seems like we've been talking about this forever now, and each week it gets a little more real. Like it might just happen. Like the Broncos just might get Deshaun Watson. And if they're the betting favorites, look, Vegas, when they make odds, they know a little something about something. Or maybe they're just reading all these media reports about the Broncos, gonna make a push for what. Like the way that the amount of different ways the same thing has been said is actually impressive. Like we talked about this weeks ago about the Broncos' chances. Like of course they'll try to go after him if he comes available, and you just keep spinning that in different ways to make it a new headline. I feel like I don't know how real the chances actually are, if they're more real than they were weeks ago.
Here's what we know, though. Like, if the Texans do finally give up and try to trade Deshaun Watson, they'll be in the running. They'll be in probably the top 3.
Yeah.
And those are good odds.
Yeah.
We'll take those odds.
It's all we could have asked for, really.
Yeah. I think fans like you and I who remember the 2012 offseason and the Peyton Manning thing, I don't think people remember how goddamn long that took. That was a long, long process. It was probably like a month.
Yeah, he took a tour.
He took his time. He
was probably also trying to really make sure he could throw a football again.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was such a long, drawn out process. But when the Broncos ended up signing him, it just feels like it felt like with after that, we were going to get our guy in free agency kind of regardless. We were going to do whatever it took to get the right guy. Now I don't know if that's the case anymore. The Matthew Stafford thing, it felt like such why didn't he come here? What do we not have that other teams do?
Yeah.
So we still have a little bit of that lingering Manning effect where we feel like if there's a big quarterback on the market, we're getting him.
Yeah. When there's no real reason to believe it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I mean, when you sit and look at it objectively, okay, there's a good reason to want to go to the Panthers too. If you're Deshaun Watson, there's a good reason to want to go to the Dolphins. There's probably good reasons, football and non-football related, to want to go to the Jets.
Yeah.
There's still good reasons to go to the Broncos too on offense.
Offensively, and it's hard because so much bad shit happened to the Broncos last year, but you're really selling the potential, right? If you're the Broncos to Deshaun, you're selling the potential of what you have, and you have to look past the record from last season. The defense, I think, maybe a little underwhelming in terms of name brand talent, but Vic Fangio's going to coach up a defense, and maybe you sell Deshaun on the idea that you're drafting defense and you're targeting a player here or there, because your offense is, if Deshaun Watson comes, your offense is pretty much set. You could argue maybe you figure out right tackle depending on what happens with Jawan James, but maybe you just pay Jawan James and hopefully he plays like you thought he was going to play.
Yeah.
But you should be able to say pretty good offensive line, pretty good running backs, great receiving weapons. That's appealing to a quarterback. Defense was riddled with injuries. We think these guys will be back. They'll be good players. We're going to move this guy, but we're going to free up money to bring in this guy and this guy. You're selling him on potential. Panthers, their defense was not good, but it's young. Broncos have better receiving weapons than the Panthers, but the Panthers got Christian McCaffrey, quarterback's best friend. Dolphins got to be the most appealing out of all of those teams. Jets, could be. Like
Are
they've
they?
got ammo to build
Are
it.
the Dolphins as appealing? Are the Dolphins as appealing on offense?
Are they?
Though,
They will be. They'll.
yeah, because you give up the thing they need to do.
Oh, yeah, right. They need
People
a
expect them to take a wide receiver
right.
three, and so you can't do
But
that.
you give that up to get Watson.
Right, but then like the piece that everybody expects to make the team more explosive, like suddenly you don't have that. Obviously, you do have Deshaun Watson over Tua, which is a huge upgrade at this point. Not to say that Tua can't be good this season or in his career whatsoever, but you don't have to you still have to fill out the rest of the offense with playmakers. And you don't you take Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay over whoever the Dolphins are trotting out at running back.
Yeah, who they finish with?
It was like Salvon Ahmed and
yeah, that guy's pretty good. But
they're okay. They're kind of replacement type guys.
Yeah, maybe the Broncos do have a great case. Maybe I just convinced myself.
They definitely have a better offense. I mean, obviously, when a guy is uprooting his entire life, like offensive and football scheme fit and players, not the only thing they think about.
Yeah, I guess
probably like
the question after that would be is Pat Shurmur the right guy for Watson?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I just don't know.
I don't know who is a good fit for Watson though.
Who isn't?
It feels like he can pull off a lot of different styles of offense, and I think they're smart enough to fit the offense around him too.
Yeah,
but he can play vertically. Like he can play that vertical Shurmur style offense.
Oh yeah, he's so talented. He can do anything.
Yeah,
you protect him. You give
Texans.
Watson time.
Oh. Come on, Houston. What are you doing?
Dude, Chiefs fans are going to hate me if we get Deshaun Watson. Oh, boy, are the gloves coming off. I have been beaten into submission because they have a good quarterback. We get Deshaun Watson. Do you think a guy gets a nickname like Michael Jordan because he's bad at quarterback? I don't think so. Wasn't it Tebow called him that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right.
So he's like Michael Jordan coming out of Clemson.
He kind of is. He was super, super, just clutch.
Yeah.
Especially when I think of Deshaun Watson, the first thing I think about still is that national championship game against Alabama.
It's, he's good.
And there's no question about it.
Well,
we figured that out.
I don't care if the Broncos don't draft in the first round for the next 3 or 4 years with Watson. That's the other thing too. You can get draft picks back throughout.
You can, yeah.
You can acquire them in different ways. Doesn't mean you will. Or if you have 2 second-round draft picks, to me that's as good as having, a mid-tier first rounder, a late first rounder, which
you assume too, those first round picks aren't going to be the first round picks Denver's been making the last few years, because you got to give the Broncos credit. Their first rounders to them are worth more than the Raiders. First rounders be nothing to the Raiders. You can give them 4 every year and they'll find a way to pick the wrong guys. You give Denver a first rounder and you get Garrett Bowles, and then you get Bradley Chubb, and then Noah Fant, and then Jerry Jeudy. So they actually do things with their first rounders.
Yeah. The Raiders are the guy in fantasy who takes the defense way too early.
Yeah.
In their draft.
Exactly.
It's we better get him now just so we have it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like you're stealing an Adam Rank bit here. But
am I?
That's pretty – no, not exactly. It just
we already made that video. He just guessed it in it.
Yeah.
We did the most annoying guys in your fantasy draft. Yeah. We wrote that shit. Damn it.
That was us.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he might be stealing our bit.
That's right.
I tweeted – so that joke I tweeted about the throwing motions Some guy named Corey Benson on Twitter responded, "Guarantee they both throw better than you, so you can pipe down, sis." I replied, "Wrong," and he replied to that. The hell did he say? Oh yeah, he said, "Does your special needs assistant know you're on Twitter all by yourself?" And in that sentence, he spelled "your" the wrong way, which is just that. That's like always the dead giveaway.
Wow. Yeah, goes right for calling you special needs because that's funny, right?
Got him.
Dude, people are stupid. The internet, Twitter, there's one guy every day that makes you go, oh, I don't know if humanity has a chance.
I think there's more than one. There's a lot of people there.
There's plenty. I mean, even just like tweeting about the Broncos should go after Deshaun. I tweeted like Deshaun Watson had statistically his best season when the Texans traded away his best receiver. They fired their head coach midseason. His second best receiver was suspended for all of December, right? Like last year was a shit show, and he played really well. And some people are like, yeah, well, how many games did he win? How many games did that quarterback win? How good could he be if those are all just garbage types? I'm like, you're stupid. You're stupid. And I hate
I mean, I think I wouldn't call it like, statistically it was his best year, and that means something.
It means
it really means something. It doesn't mean it's his best year, but it still like means something.
It means he played well even when everything else was going wrong with the Texans.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, to me, that's what's impressive about him.
Right. And it also goes to show that you can put up those numbers and your team is still like, were they 5-11?
Yeah.
Then that shows you how bad the situation it was.
They didn't have a good running game. Like, what's impressive is that he had just 7 picks, right? So, usually in those type of situations where quarterbacks are on a bad team and say they're having to throw it a lot because they're down, you see interception totals climb. Good quarterbacks keep that low. So, anyway, that's enough for today. You made it through the podcast, all right? Good night.
Are you talking to me? I made it, or the audience?
Both. I don't understand how either of you do it.
Good night.
And good luck.